A broken clock is right even twice a day. And that's clearly the case with Piers Morgan, who I often find to be pretty appalling in his double talk on a lot of moral issues, to be honest. You know, he'll say with Israel, well, I support Israel's right to defend itself. They've got to go after Hamas. But what they've done is unconscionable. You know? And of course, what Hamas did is unacceptable. But in Israel going after Hamas, well, that's just, the price is too high. You know, and it's just painful. However, he's spoken about the deporting of Mahmoud Khalil, the foreign student at Columbia who was promoting Hamas and terrorism and anti-Semitism. And here he is on Bill Maher's show explaining the hypocrisy of those who are against the decision, on the left in particular. Have a watch.
I'm okay with that.
All right, what if I was a young student at Columbia, they're on a green card, British, come in, happy to be here, do all my paperwork, get to Columbia, and I start leading a group which is a bunch of white supremacists, and we start terrorizing black students in the way that they were terrorizing Jewish students. Well, hang on. In that circumstance, would we all be as comfortable with this, or is it the reality which was exposed by the mobs at Columbia, which is that for some reason Jews get treated differently to anybody else when it comes to this kind of thing? Because if that had been, honestly,
Correct.
white supremacists treating black students like that, they would be out the country in
so
10
true.
minutes. In
Completely
10
true.
minutes.
You know,
That is completely true.
What about if he had said all this at his green card interview? Would he have got a green card? No. No. If he said, I support a prescribed terror group in the United States, you're not coming in on a green card. All Marco Rubio is doing, it seems to me, is taking it back to that scenario and saying, well, if you'd been honest then, and by the way, he was dishonest on his green card application about other stuff, which is another part of the equation, which might in itself disqualify him from staying in the country. But the idea that he would have said, I support Hamas, I support a global intifada, I support the destruction of Western civilization, now give me a green card to come and live in America.
All right, I have to end it there.
It's very fair. The double standards here are obviously completely unacceptable. And I think that we should start saying this with more confidence, saying this kind of double standards that are rampant in so much political discourse, where it's one rule for people of a certain ilk, certain background, and another rule for others when it comes to all these issues. And we should say it clearly. This is some more encouraging news. This picture here you can see is an associate of Mahmoud Khalil, a Columbia University student who co-founded with him a university organization called Palestinian Student Union, was arrested Monday by Department of Homeland Security agents. His attorney told ABC News. His name is Mohsen Madawi, a permanent resident of the US. He was arrested and detained after attending his naturalization interview in Vermont. Pretty sure Bernie Sanders is the senator for Vermont. I wonder what he'd say about all this. US District Judge William Sessions subsequently granted Madawi's attorneys a temporary restraining order, barring the government from moving Madawi out of District of Vermont pending further order from the court. At Columbia University, Madawi was an outspoken critic of Israel's military campaign in Gaza, an activist and organizing student protests on Columbia's campus until March of 2024, after which he took a step back and has not been involved in organizing. Madawi's attorneys have of course said that it was unlawful what he did. But in December of 2023, Madawi appears on a TV news show 60 Minutes where he railed against Israel, basically. However, the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, has stated that Khalil should be deported because of his role in anti-Semitic protests and disruptive activities, which fosters a hostile environment for Jewish students in the United States. And we know, of course, that Columbia has basically celebrations of October 7th and casting it as acts of resistance. So well done, Piers Morgan, for getting one thing right. And it's good to see that America is showing the kind of moral backbone that I don't think we're seeing throughout much of the rest of the world, certainly at a governmental level. I'm reminded of that quote attributed to Alexis de Tocqueville, although I don't know if he actually said it, that America is great because America is good. And when she ceases to be good, she will cease to be great.
Hi, thank you so much for watching. To watch another one, click here. To stay up to date with all our content, click here to subscribe. And if you're able to, you can help support JTV to grow and grow by clicking join below this video, where you can become a member and get perks including early access to videos and private live discussions with me. But most of all, you'll be partnering with us on our mission to change the world.